Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, a place that's usually buzzing with energy and movement, was eerily quiet today. The familiar hum of rolling suitcases and boarding calls was replaced by an uneasy silence, broken only by the occasional announcement echoing through the vast terminal. The departure boards, normally a blur of changing numbers and destinations, were frozen in time, delayed, canceled, delayed. Each update brought only more disappointment as travelers watched their plans unravel in real time. Families sat on their luggage, vacation plans dissolving before their eyes. Children clung to stuffed animals, parents tried to explain the unexplainable, and the excitement of travel faded into exhaustion and uncertainty. Business travelers stared at their phones, watching meetings and opportunities slip away with every passing minute. Some paced anxiously, others slumped in their seats, resigned to the chaos. Airline employees, overwhelmed and outnumbered, could only offer apologies, no answers. Their faces showed the strain of trying to help, but the situation was out of their hands. No one knew when flights would resume. The real problem was far away, in Washington, D.C. Rumors spread through the terminal, but facts were scarce. The unseen infrastructure that keeps planes moving had ground to a halt. Air traffic control, the invisible force guiding every takeoff and landing, was suddenly silent. A young couple with a baby searched for a quiet corner, their long-awaited Disney trip now a nightmare of waiting and worry. Their hopes for a magical vacation were replaced by the harsh reality of uncertainty. Students huddled together, their excitement for a school trip fading as teachers made desperate calls trying to find answers or alternate plans. The smell of coffee and fast food mocked the stranded crowds, offering small comforts that did little to ease the frustration. Lines for snacks grew longer as people settled in for an indefinite wait. This wasn't just inconvenience, it was a national crisis, unfolding in real time. The emotional toll was visible on every face, as people realized how quickly their lives could be disrupted. The chaos at the world's busiest airport showed how quickly things fall apart when a critical system fails. The sense of order and routine vanished, replaced by confusion and anxiety. The empty security lanes and grounded planes were a stark reminder. The services we take for granted are fragile. In moments like this, the vast network that keeps us connected feels suddenly, shockingly vulnerable. Air traffic control towers are the nerve centers of aviation, orchestrating the complex ballet of aircraft in the skies and on the ground. Every day these towers coordinate the safe movement of thousands of flights, ensuring that passengers and cargo reach their destinations smoothly and efficiently. Managing this immense flow of air traffic is a high-stakes job, demanding constant vigilance and split-second decision-making from controllers. But during a government shutdown, these dedicated professionals are forced to work without pay, their financial security suddenly thrown into uncertainty. Imagine the pressure of making life-or-death decisions while also worrying about how you'll pay your bills or support your family. The emotional toll is immense. As the shutdown drags on, financial stress mounts, and staffing thins out as more controllers call in sick or are unable to report for duty. The FAA is left scrambling with a skeleton crew, forced to reduce the number of flights in the air to maintain safety standards. Planes are spaced further apart, departures are slashed, and bottlenecks form at airports across the country, causing widespread delays and frustration for travelers. As stress and fatigue rise among the remaining controllers, safety margins shrink, and the risk of human error increases, putting everyone in the air at greater risk. Meanwhile, essential maintenance, critical software updates, and the training of new controllers come to a complete halt, leaving the system vulnerable to breakdowns and future shortages. The pipeline for new talent dries up as the FAA Academy closes its doors, halting the education of the next generation of air traffic controllers. The U.S. already faces a significant controller shortage, and every week of shutdown only deepens the crisis, making it harder to recover. The system's resilience erodes with each passing day, and the path to recovery grows longer and more difficult. The impact of a shutdown isn't just immediate, it casts a long shadow, threatening the future of safe and reliable air travel in America. The longer the shutdown lasts, the deeper and more lasting the damage becomes, affecting not just today's flights, but the entire aviation system for years to come. As the skies grow less safe and the system more fragile, the true cost of a shutdown becomes painfully clear, for travelers, for workers, and for the future of flight. Airports are ecosystems, and a shutdown poisons every part. Security lines stretch for hours as unpaid TSA agents call out. Passengers miss flights, not because of airlines, but because security barely moves. Airport revenue from shops, restaurants, and parking plummets. Smaller airports face devastating losses, delaying crucial repairs and expansions. Airlines bleed money with every canceled flight. Lost revenue, stranded passengers, rerouted crews. A single day of cancellations costs tens of millions. The disruption ripples for weeks with planes and crews out of place. Schedules unravel, reputations suffer, and passenger confidence erodes. The damage lingers long after the shutdown ends. For travelers, a government shutdown transforms the simple act of flying into utter chaos. What should be a routine journey quickly unravels into a stressful ordeal, as uncertainty and confusion ripple through every corner of the airport. Flights are canceled with little or no warning, leaving passengers scrambling for alternatives. The process of rebooking becomes a nightmare, with options disappearing by the minute and prices soaring. Airline websites buckle under the pressure, often crashing or freezing, while customer service lines stretch for hours. Travelers wait anxiously, desperate for answers that rarely come. Even if your flight isn't canceled, you're not in the clear. Endless security lines snake through terminals, and gate assignments change without notice, forcing passengers to rush from one end of the airport to the other. Delays pile up, and reliable information is hard to find. Travelers constantly refresh their phones hoping for updates that never seem to arrive. Gate agents, overwhelmed by the sheer volume of stranded passengers, can do little to help. Their frustration mirrors that of the crowds they're trying to assist. Missed flights don't just mean inconvenience, they mean missed weddings, lost business deals, and family reunions that never happen. The emotional toll is immense. Stranded travelers are forced to sleep on airport floors or spend money on hotels and meals, expenses that travel insurance rarely covers, adding insult to injury. For some, these disruptions are a major inconvenience, but for others, especially those on tight budgets or strict schedules, it's a financial disaster that can take months to recover from. Families lose money on non-refundable bookings, students miss important classes or exams, and patients are forced to reschedule critical medical appointments. The stress is crushing, turning what should be exciting journeys into costly ordeals filled with anxiety and disappointment. For many, air travel isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. People rely on it for work, family, and health, making these disruptions all the more devastating. The shutdown lays bare just how vulnerable travelers are, exposing the fragility of a system millions depend on every day. The hardship is real, and the impact is deeply personal. Every canceled flight is a story of plans derailed and dreams put on hold. The system's failure hits hardest those who can least afford it. Elderly, low-income, and vulnerable travelers bear the brunt of the chaos, often with nowhere else to turn. The economic fallout of an aviation shutdown is massive. Air travel fuels commerce, tourism, and business. When it stops, the economy suffers. Billions are lost each week, far beyond airline revenue. Hotels, restaurants, and attractions in major cities see waves of cancellations. Conventions are scrapped, costing cities millions and threatening local jobs. Air cargo delays disrupt supply chains, slowing manufacturing and raising costs. The shutdown project's instability, driving international travelers and business elsewhere. America's reputation as a reliable destination takes a hit. The scars from a shutdown linger, damaging growth and competitiveness. The cost is measured in lost jobs, missed opportunities, and diminished trust. Beyond the chaos, shutdowns create hidden risks to aviation safety. FAA safety inspections, audits, and certifications are suspended, inspectors are furloughed, and routine checks stop. The longer oversight is paused, the greater the risk of undetected problems. Political gridlock in Washington turns essential services into bargaining chips. Shutdowns are not natural disasters, they're self-inflicted wounds. Public trust erodes as safety is compromised for political gains. The tragedy, these crises are entirely avoidable. The cost is measured in risk, frustration, and lost faith in government. If you're caught in a shutdown, stay informed and flexible. Sign up for flight alerts and check airline and FAA updates constantly. Book early morning, non-stop flights if possible. Avoid connections. Consider alternative airports or ground transportation for short trips. Pack snacks, water, and a power bank. Be ready for long waits. Prepare for overnight stays. Have hotel info handy. Stay calm with airline staff. they're under pressure too. Know your rights. Airlines may offer vouchers or assistance even if not required. Keep receipts for extra expenses and request compensation after your trip. Flexibility and patience are your best tools. The more prepared you are, the better you'll weather the storm. In a crisis, a little planning goes a long way. The 20,000 Science spine samats dandan naktit typhian pushed U.S. aviation to the brink. It wasn't a sudden collapse but a slow, grinding breakdown. Unpaid workers, mass cancellations, and lost public confidence exposed deep vulnerabilities. The shortage of air traffic controllers became critical, with training halted and stress rising. The system, built for efficiency, had no buffer for crisis. Political leaders underestimated the real-world consequences. The system barely held together, thanks to the dedication of frontline workers. But heroism isn't a substitute for a resilient system. This was a stress test the system barely passed, a warning for the future. Fundamental change is needed to keep our skies safe and reliable. As the shutdown ends, the first task is to restore safety and stability. Airlines and the FAA face a huge backlog: inspections, certifications, and training. Clearing this requires funding and a strategic plan. Long-term, we must protect essential services from future shutdowns through legislation or dedicated funding. Modernizing air traffic control with next-gen technology is critical for resilience. Rebuilding trust means never asking essential workers to go unpaid again. The aviation industry must renew its commitment to reliability and service. The empty airports of 2025 are a stark reminder of what's at stake. The path forward demands political will, investment, and a shared commitment to safe, open skies.